Hi, you're through to Romy, Wyser Intuitive Guide. Thanks for tuning into my channel. Today's reading is a pick a card reading, which is timeless. So whenever you do tune in, these messages may well resonate for what's going on around you at the moment. This reading is for those of you that have your own business. That could be your main business or a sideline that you're looking to grow or expand. Or for those of you who have an idea or are thinking about starting out for yourself. So if you'd like to take part, all you need to do is tune in to one of the piles of cards. I've pre-shuffled these. The first one is Rhodonite. The second one here is Moonstone. And the third one is Blue Lace Agate. So just take a nice deep breath, think about your business and decide on one of the piles, 1, 2 or 3. And we'll go ahead and give you a reading to provide you some clarity and insight around the success of this business and what you need to know around it at the moment. Okay, for those of you that chose pile number 1, the Rhodonite, let's go ahead and see what's coming out in your reading. So the first tarot card that we have is the Fool. Okay, so I feel that this is tuning in to those of you that are either just about to launch something within your existing business, or you want to start out, or you're taking something to the next level. There's probably a little bit of a push-pull happening within you just now. What I mean by that is that your heart is telling you that it's time, that you're ready for it, that you have to take a bit of a risk or a leap of faith around something. And yet I feel like your head is kind of questioning or bringing up some doubts, or you're having a little bit of a last minute second guessing over some kind of aspect of what you've been thinking about, okay? But what this is suggestive for me is that what you're about to do is going to open up a new path in some regards with, relation to this business or this idea. And I think that this is necessary because I feel underlying this, maybe it's time to make a tweak or a change. So I think probably that's why you feel a little bit hesitant. Maybe for those of you that are thinking about just about starting out, maybe at the last minute you've decided to change, adapt, or add something else in. Or for those of you who are currently operating in business and about to look to launch something, I feel like there's a new aspect to it, maybe something that's not been tried and tested yet. And so that is bringing up some uncertainty and doubt. But at the moment, the guidance from Spirit is saying that you have to move forward with this. You have to go for it. Okay, so the second card coming in is the King of Swords, which makes sense. So here we're dealing with your thought process. We're dealing with that kind of logical side that's maybe hitting against the more intuitive, let's just do it. Even his stance in the card is quite defensive. Maybe you feel a little bit blocked over something. So that sense of push-pull can cause quite a restless energy. Now, I get two things coming through with this card. The first is that I feel like you need to get your thoughts in order, okay? This is about gaining control over any doubts or any fear that's coming up and trying to stop you from taking that next step. What I also feel though is that you are about to, if this hasn't happened already, get some really sage advice and wisdom from somebody who's either already done what you're about to do, not necessarily even in the same industry, but has a similar path that they have followed in the past. So they have expertise, they have wise words and some real kind of grounded, important words that they need to give to you. And I feel like Spirit are actually putting this person on your path to help you. It's not necessarily a male figure. I just feel that this is someone who's coming across as, really tuned in, and quite analytical in their thought process. Now, I do want to say that initially, when they give you this advice, you might feel they're being a bit negative, okay? You might come away from that conversation or that interaction feeling like, well, maybe there's no point, or maybe I've done it totally, in the wrong way, or what I'm about to do isn't going to work based on what they've said. But I want you to look beyond that, okay? This isn't about this person coming up and being critical. This is about them giving you some real really important advice or understanding that you are going to need as you are looking at the projection or the wider horizon, what's still to come, okay? So maybe they're talking to you about a potential challenge or pitfall that they experienced, and it might not make sense right now, and it might feel a little bit negative to you, but I think it's really important because I feel like your angels and guides have actually put this person on your pathway so that you will be informed about what the next step is with something, okay? It's to kind of help with your expectations, I feel. Okay, so we have 9 of Pentacles coming in, which is a wonderful card if we're looking about what you want to achieve and your success in your own business. So, you know, for me, sitting under the Fool energy here, this new beginning, this new pathway, this new initiative, what is it delivering? A sense of accomplishment, an increase in your self-worth, in your standing, material success. This is a really beautiful energy coming in. This is you feeling in control. I will say that, you know, this is after a period of hard work and really putting the time and energy in. And, you know, sometimes to get to that point of the 9 of Pentacles, that real fruition, there are sacrifices that have to be made, okay? And I do feel that you might be about to go through a period of time where you're having to make some sacrifices. Now that could be just in your time and your energy toward other things in your life. So maybe you're not quite having the same opportunity to meet up socially with friends or to dedicate to your family or to, you know, do things that you really love that are, you know, important for your self-care. Now, this isn't about making decisions that are going to cause an imbalance in your life, but this is talking to me about a prioritization that says, you know, if you want to bring something to fruition and to its full potential, then you have to keep really focused. You also, and I get really drawn to what's happening in and around her hair, just, you know, for me, this is about the listening, okay? Because I just kind of get drawn into the ear area here. So this is, again, linking into that King of Swords energy. When you listen and you take on that advice, again, almost the advice that's coming in from this hawk that she's holding, this is going to help you to make better business decisions and choices, okay? So don't try and do it all alone. Look to those who you respect and you can learn from. Okay, so I've used a second tarot deck and we've got the 3 of Pentacles or coins coming in here. Again, a wonderful card to talk about the creation of new foundations that you're laying, okay? And remember, you know, with the Fool energy and the 3 of Pentacles, this is fairly early in the process. So that's why I do feel drawn to those of you that are either about to start something or you're adding something new, like a new layer or a new aspect to your business. And so there's a time element that comes in here, okay? There's a divine timing. So I need you to just temper your expectations around what you want to see and by when, okay? This is a long-term game that you're playing. That 9 of Pentacles is giving you the assurance that you're on the right track and that your ideas are sound, but you also have to lay things in the right way. So I'm going to say to you that you need to pay careful attention to the processes, you know, put things in place to help you work more efficiently from the beginning, and then you're not going to come up against the same kind of pitfall or challenge when you're ready to expand or take something to the next level down the line. This is also suggestive to me of collaboration or working with others. And if you do have a business where you've got employees or you're looking to bring people in, I think this is a really positive validation to say, yes, this will be helpful and supportive for you, okay? But again, be mindful about the trajectory that you have for the business and the type of energies and the type of people that you want to work with and what they can bring into your business. Be discerning about that. You know, King of Swords energy is all about the discernment and making, you know, what some might say is quite cold-hearted choices and decisions, but I actually think that they're sound business you know, choices that are going to help you in the long term, okay? So, you know, maybe you have to step out of your comfort zone a little bit. And again, when we talk about that heart-head pull going on, it just feels that, you know, you might be going against the grain within yourself if you're somebody who's quite empathic and finds it quite difficult to be more clear about what your expectations are of others. I think that that's something that you're going to be coming up against over the next 3 months. Okay, so we've pulled some oracle cards, and the first one that's coming through is faith. So we have this beautiful full moon energy coming in, and also this connection into the earth at the moment. So for me, again, this is the balance between you feeling very grounded and making practical decisions, but also really trusting in your own intuitive senses. Now, with that full moon energy, it feels to me that something is still to come to light. There's some kind of revelation or information that's going to be pertinent to you. And I feel that this is coming in for you over the next 3 months. So again, I don't want you to make judgments on what you are about to launch or the action you're about to take until you've passed that period of time. I feel like you're going to need that long to be able to see something come to fruition, or to get a real handle on whether the direction or the work that you're putting in, the product, the service, the idea is the right one. And it's also going to, at that point, give you a sense of what it is that you need to do, what changes you need to make. Now, sometimes when we talk about that idea of faith, you know, again, there's a timing quality. So we might feel like, oh yes, I've got faith, but I still expect to see results within a week after launching, or I still expect to see orders, you know, within 48 hours of setting my business up. But for me, faith is talking about the long-term game, okay? So this is about how long, if you have a vision and a belief within yourself, and you know that this is your purpose. And for me, this feels like you're about to embark on a brand new life cycle within your business or within an idea that you are meant to deliver. You are meant to bring it out and connect with people through this work. Then you have to have faith along that journey, because it's going to deliver you ups and downs, and there are going to be some challenges and obstacles that are going to come in that are going to test that. So this is about you managing your own expectation levels. The next oracle card that's coming through is potential. For me, this is about you recognizing not only the potential within yourself, but also within what it is that you're doing. Remember, it's not about needing the external validation from other people. Of course, you need to recognize that there's a market, or there's people who are interested in what you have to offer. But for some of you, you might be creating a brand new market. So trust on what's been given to you. Trust in your own intuitive senses. Now, because there's quite a lot of darkness coming through in this card, for me it does feel like there'll be a period of time when you feel in the dark, or when you feel like you're not getting that kind of feedback, that validation, or that recognition straight away. Again, I'm going to draw back to this 3-month time scale before you're going to really start to see something show its true colors. Okay, but remember that potential needs an element of time to come to fruition. And what comes out of that? Well, these beautiful cards of fruition and abundance coming through. The final oracle card that we have is one step ahead is all that you need. And it does feel like that links really strongly into the full energy card there. It's about taking a risk. It's about being bold with yourself at this moment in time, but also doing it with a wise head on your shoulders, managing that push-pull between heart and head, and making a sound choice that's both grounded and intuitive. But it feels like if you're just on the cusp of about to do something, then for me this reading is saying just get on and take that inspired action, and then start to trust the journey as it unfolds. Thank you so much. I hope that's helped. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, for those of you that chose pile number 2, the Moonstone, let's go ahead and see what comes out in your reading. So your first card coming through is the Page of Cups. So I'm feeling that creativity is absolutely necessary in your business, your idea, your venture right now. You're probably in a period of time where you have an explosion of ideas, and maybe there's a sense of overwhelm at exactly where to begin. There is probably a desire to either rework something or change something up completely, and tap into maybe an area that you haven't explored up to this point. I feel like you've probably had some signs, or certainly really strong intuitive hits over the last few weeks, and you're at a point now where you're trying to realize what that means to you within your current business or something that you're looking to begin or you're looking to start. Sometimes there is a sense of naivety that comes through with the Page of Cups. So you might be looking at something that you haven't done before and feeling maybe a little bit uncertain about whether it's the right thing to do. And I guess it feels to me that you're also looking around quite a lot to try and get inspiration or ideas, see what other people are doing, what's working, but also trying to find your own niche with something. I do feel that you need to pay close attention to what's coming up on your path, particularly over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, this time frame is really important because I think you're going to get some kind of validation about an idea that you've got. Maybe you'll see it realized already somewhere else, or you'll see it coming up as like a new trend, or you'll just get an idea of how you can do it differently or with a twist. Okay, so there's something important that's coming up very soon for you that's going to give a real creative burst. I feel that for many of you, this is also about you tapping into your own gifts. So I'm probably looking at some of you who are looking to step into a new spiritual business or creative business that's really going to allow you to start to explore that area of your life. So I think we're also looking at some of you that might already have a business, but it's like a part-time thing, or something that you're just doing in the evenings or weekends. You've maybe got another job at the moment and you're wondering, how do I make the bridge between moving away from a current job into sort of making this become more of a mainstay. Again, this is talking to me about you being creative and looking at how things have been done previously, but also trusting in the guidance and where you're being led. I think the timing of that isn't quite right if that's what some of you are looking at the moment, but rest assured you're on a pathway that says this is exactly where you're heading, and I feel quite excited as we look over the next 12 months to see actually what that's going to deliver for you. So don't be in too much of a rush to try and make the jump. Use the security that you have at the moment to take the time that you need to really put something together that is a beautiful and authentic expression of who you are. And that's what's really going to help you to put a robust and secure, beautiful Four of Wands and stable foundation in place. So for me, this is a card of balance coming in. Okay, so maybe you are looking as to how you can achieve more balance with the business. Maybe something is out of balance. You've either been putting too much time and energy in and you're not seeing the rewards, or maybe you're moonlighting, you're just trying to juggle different jobs or different careers. Okay, for me, this is a lovely validation that is coming in, but you really need to listen to yourself. Sometimes when we are overwhelmed with ideas and we're trying to kind of work on the business and in the business, there isn't really any downtime. There's no sense of like looking after yourself properly or giving you almost having that time where you step away from things. And I think that that's important. They talk to me with this card about sacred time. Where, when is your sacred time? Because actually that's when some of this creativity and these ideas are really going to come in. So even though you might have a sense of guilt that you can't take that time, what the guides are saying is that's wholly necessary at the moment. Okay, so in order for those ideas to come in the next 2 or 3 weeks, carve out some balance, carve out some time when you can step away from things, because I think that's where you're going to get some harmony coming into play. Okay, I also think there's a really beautiful surprise to come in for you. Okay, I'm picking that up with this reading. So I think there's some sort of good news or surprise offer, invitation, or perhaps inspiration that's going to come up within the next 3 to 4 weeks. That's really going to be a pleasant surprise. It just feels like it's going to give you a sense of enthusiasm and motivation to keep going. Okay, sometimes we really need to dig deep and find that inner sense of resilience and motivation to power through different cycles of time as we go through different stages of things in our business. And it feels at the moment that you might be about to kind of enter into one of those periods where you just need a little bit more of a reminder that what you're doing is on the right track, that you mustn't give up. And actually, if you're about to take a step, then yes, you can feel wholly supported that that is the right way forward for you. But take away that word of balance. I think that's really important, because remember, what you're putting in place now is the energy with which this business is going to unfold into the long term. So if you don't have that balance right now, then it's going to be a lot harder to make those decisions and draw those boundaries around your personal time, your sacred time, whether that's to be with your family or to just enjoy other areas of life. Okay, so don't let it be at the cost of your own emotional, physical, mental well-being. All right, so Seven of Cups is a very spiritual energy that's coming through with this reading. So I do feel I am going to be linking into a lot of you that are moving into more spiritual pursuits or looking to expand in that particular area. But again, I also get with this card, there's an element of choice or overwhelm that's coming in, and maybe some confusion or uncertainty. You're probably in that place where you're fantasizing or thinking a lot about the potential or what could be with something, but are you actually being able to realize and take action against that? Okay, all of these cups is necessary because it brings about the creativity, the vision, and the intuitive ideas, but we also need that anchor point, that grounded energy to actually bring something to fruition and manifestation. Don't get me wrong, I feel that, moving into that energy, it's a very Neptunian energy, is going to really help you to manifest and kind of pre-pave and set the tone, but just try to be clear with that. If you're looking at a vision board, if you're setting out what your intentions are for your business, whether you're just starting out or you're already in business and you're trying to realize a bigger expansive idea, or you're trying to draw in more abundance, just get really clear about what it is that you want and why. I feel like if you are at all uncertain, you're going to be sending out mixed messages. And so for some of you, you might be kind of getting slightly chaotic or sporadic information, maybe sales, maybe interest that's coming into your business at the moment. So, 1 week it's super busy and then it goes flat. And so it just feels like if we're trying to build in more balance, more consistency, you need to get more clear in your thinking and your vision. But again, this is beautifully, reminding you about your capacity to be able to work energetically to support the ideas and bringing things to life. Don't forget about that part of it. If you don't line up with the energy ahead of time, then what's going to come in, you're going to be very reactive to. So this is about you recognizing and moving into a more proactive energy. Okay, so the second tarot deck, we've pulled Justice cards, so it's a major arcana coming in. And again, the same message here is one of balance. I also feel that there's a karmic aspect to this, which is important. So I think that, for those of you that have either been looking to do something for a very long time or have put a lot of hard work in for a prolonged period of time, there is a sense of something weighing up in your favor to come. I think there is some legal documents or signing of documents that's coming through. And actually with that Four of Wands, we might be looking at some of you that are considering new premises, or there's something about the actual foundational change coming up. So you might be either moving premises or considering that. With that Seven of Cups, I just want to say pay close attention to the detail. If you need to, make sure you've got external support and advice coming in to help you. But for those of you that might be involved in some kind of legal situation, I do feel balance and harmony is coming in with that, but don't be naive is what they're telling me, okay? If you don't know something, you don't understand something, take the time to look into it so that you don't get tripped up down the line or end up in a situation that feels out of your depth or restricts you in some way in the future. And I think that's important. Again, we're talking about getting the right foundations in place. Okay, so the oracle card that we've pulled for you is the long night moon darkness, and actually another number 4 here, which I quite like because it's just bringing stability and security in. But what it is talking to me about is maybe you feeling a little bit isolated, maybe you feeling like you can't quite see the full results of what you are looking to achieve or the work that you've put in with something. But sometimes we need those periods of time to look within and to really be able to trust and follow what our inner light is telling us. And you know, this path is still illuminated, even though it feels like it's quite dark. And when they talk about long night, it might feel like for you, it might have felt like a long time, or it's feeling like it's taking a lot longer for something to realize itself. But remember, we've got that Justice card coming in and something coming to fruition. If you feel a sense of stagnancy or block around something, then this reading is saying revisit how you are manifesting, revisit what your thoughts are telling you. Have you moved into a negative thought base where you are saying it's never going to work, or it's taking so long, or why is it not happening? You know, look at the language with which you are using. Take that quiet time to meditate and go within, because when you align with the energy, you're going to see results coming in much faster. Okay, your second oracle card going forward. Now we've got two beautiful paths showing in both of these oracle cards, which is telling me there's still a journey to take. So, you know, don't feel disheartened or despondent about where you're at this point in the journey, okay? The light is about to come streaming in and your path is still illuminated. All of this green is lush. You've got green and yellow, which are absolutely beautiful signs of abundance coming in. And there's a recognition coming, beautiful orbs showing here as well, that there's a real sense of angelic guidance. Now the sky isn't clear, so again, you know, there is this sense of you not being given all of the information, or not seeing quite yet how luminous and the real potential or opportunity. So you're going to have to move into an energy of trust, but you're going to have to keep going, because it's actually on that journey that you're going to pick up so much vital experience and expertise. For those of you that are looking to make that bridge between something, you know, a job that you have and moving in toward maybe your own business, again, I feel the timing's not quite there, but I'm looking over the next 12 months in this huge sense of forward movement. Okay, there's forward motion all around this, and you are working towards this, and it is going to happen. It's just that you need to trust that there are still things that you're going to learn, there are still things that need to come in, or maybe there's some security that you still need to have in place to help you realize that dream. Okay, so the final oracle card that we have, you are epic, beautiful. And again, there's this lovely yellow gold that's bursting through with this. And again, a number 4, right? So we have 3 4s coming through in your reading, which I just want to reiterate is about this sense of balance coming into your life as a result of this business, a sense of harmony and alignment and security. There's potentially some change around your, you know, foundations around actual environments with where you work over the next 3 to 4 months. But this is also a reminder for you to recognize your own gifts, what you've already put in, and to keep reminding yourself about why you're doing this. You have to be your biggest champion. You have to be the one that self-motivates. That's going to make the difference to keep you going on this journey. But the end result of this is beautiful, so don't give up. Thank you. Okay, for those of you that chose pile number 3, the blue lace agate, let's see what's coming out in your reading. So your first card, tarot card, is the Alchemist, which is the Magician. Okay, so I'm feeling like the message I want to give you right now is, how are you marketing, expressing, selling yourself? Okay, I think there's some sort of change or tweak that you're either thinking about or you need to think about to change the message or the way that you are expressing yourself. And I think this is really important, and it's going to make all the difference, okay? You have a natural ability to be able to communicate and for people to resonate with you, or the products or service that you have to offer. But this card is talking to me about the need for a tweak or a change, okay? It's not about bringing anything new in. I think you've got everything within you that you need, or your business itself has all of the necessary resources. But I need to switch something or change something up, okay? The selling aspect of things can sometimes feel uncomfortable for many of us when we're in our own business. But in order to take it to the next level, or to really draw in more clients, more awareness of who you are and what you do, this change is absolutely necessary, okay? Now, I'm looking at something happening within a one, okay? So I'm going to say within the next week, within the next month. And it's going to be an idea. And I do feel like you might have to invest some time in it, okay? So what I mean by that is maybe you're going to learn something new. Maybe you're going to take some kind of short course, or you're going to upskill yourself. Or you're going to, have a meeting if you've got people that are working with you and for you. There's some kind of investment in time required, but the inspiration and what's going to fall out from it, because you're going to make a change following that, is going to be really important to the business, okay? So don't dismiss it and make the time for it, even if you feel like there's too many other priorities at the moment. For me, this is something about the expression, the marketing and the sales that has to change, and when it does, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Okay, so you've got Knight of Pentacles energy coming in, which I really like for you. This is a lovely grounded, secure energy that's telling me that actually everything that you are doing or about to do in this business is going to pay off. Now, there is a time element that comes in with the Knight of Pentacles that says, it can feel at times a bit laborious, or maybe like you're not getting all of that kind of shine and sparkle that you're looking for straight away, although you have the potential of that with that Magician coming in. But it's also saying don't forget about the necessary steps that have to take place behind the scenes, shall we say, okay? Now, I always get a beautiful sense of loyalty that comes through with this card. So I'm going to say to you, for anyone who is looking at taking somebody on just now, or if you're having thoughts around people that you are working with, this is interesting, because sometimes the Magician can come up as sort of bringing that kind of sleight of hand, slightly trickster energy where you might not trust. But then I've got the Knight of Pentacles coming in, and I'm saying, no, actually, I can trust. I've got loyalty here, and I feel secure in working alongside somebody. So if that message is important, then please take this as a reminder of that. Now, he's very, very focused in this card, okay? And for me, this is about you not losing focus, okay? So what it is that you're trying to achieve, the goal and the intention that you have set yourself over the coming weeks and months, you need to be diligent and consistent and show up daily. If you do the work, you are going to get the rewards of this, okay? There's a beautiful sense of abundance coming in with all this green, and actually the lightness that he's moving towards is really important. The water in the background is showing to me like a constant flow and a nurturing of the soil. The soil needs to be rich and fertile, so you need to keep everything moving. That's maybe about motivation for yourself and for people that maybe are working for you or around you. How do you keep yourself motivated and sustained even through periods that feel like hard work or quite even boring or mundane? This is the difference between having longevity within the business, okay? So there's a note about being reminding yourself about how you keep that nourishment sustained. Okay, so we've got the Hermit energy coming in here. Okay, so I think that you are going to have somebody step forward on the path who has some kind of wise inspiration or a way forward for you that they are presenting, okay? Now, I think for some of you, you might also be feeling a little bit unsure or isolated at the moment in terms of the work that you're doing. So maybe you feel like you've got an idea and you don't know who to turn to, or you don't know where to gain the support. There's something about the need to look around for that community, so that you don't become overly insular or isolated with what you're doing, okay? All three of these cards are very focused though. They're all kind of looking intently towards something, and I think maybe that's also something that you need at the moment. I do think that there's an anchor energy that's coming through with these cards that's saying, if this is what you want, then apply yourself, be committed, be like the athlete, put the time and the energy and the effort, and you're going to get the rewards of that. And I do have a sense of this being like kind of late night. So maybe for some of you, you've been burning the candle at both ends, or you're having to work extra to realize something or to see something come to fruition. These shooting stars, though, for me are about a wish coming through for you on this. Okay, so be mindful about where you're directing your energy, what it is that you want. And the illumination that's coming through with all of these cards is suggesting to me that you're moving toward a time of more fruition. Wow, we have the Magician again. So I've used a second tarot deck and we've pulled the same card. This one's named the Alchemist, but it is the Magician. So, okay, so definitely drawing back to this sense of you need to change or make a tweak around the way that you are selling yourself, or how you are connecting, okay? But the potential and the magic that's associated with the energy of the Magician is really bringing some alchemy into your business at the moment. So I'm going to say that what you're working on or what your ideas are just now are really inspired and have a little bit of fairy dust on them, is what I want to say, honestly. So don't give up with it. I think, you know, it could take a little time and focus and a kind of a constant like nurturing, but what you have is something that is really going to inspire and bring a lot of positivity to people. There's an awful lot of interest for me that's coming through with this particular version of the card, and they're saying that there is a need to connect. So making sure that you are reaching out and understanding what your customers and your clients are looking for, and then going back and seeing what your offering is, what your product is, and how it matches up, because I feel like there's going to be a tweak based on some feedback or inspiration that you're gaining from your kind of target client, that's really going to help. Now, I've got bare feet here, which is telling me that there's a need to ground your energy, right? There's a need for you to, because a lot of that Magician energy can take us really kind of high into our thoughts, and it's quite a spiritual energy, as above so below. So we're kind of we need to root into the earth as well, and I think that's why your Knight of Pentacles is shown up as well. So it's really about when you're receiving like that divine inspiration or channeling almost around what you want to do in your business, how you then ground and root your energy to be able to bring it into manifestation and to materialize it. And I actually feel that you're going to be able to do that, but you do need to draw upon both your inner wisdom and the wisdom of those that are being placed on your path specifically to help you. So our oracle card that's coming through is pleasure. Okay, this is really interesting. So a lot of butterflies coming through, which talk to me about transformation and all of the light that's bursting out here. For me, this is a reminder, okay, that you have to love what you do. And if there is not pleasure in the business and the idea, then quickly you're going to fall at the first hurdle. Quickly, when you are having to move into that Knight of Pentacles energy, where you're having to do the mundane, you know, kind of more detail orientated things that maybe isn't in your sweet spot, you're going to find it much more challenging. So how do you maintain that sense of pleasure? What does pleasure mean to you? So if you thought about your business or your idea, and then the idea of pleasure, like where do you derive pleasure? Is it in the actual connecting with your clients? Is it in the creative aspect of the business? Is it coming up with a new idea? Like what is it that really drives you? Because it's that motivation that's going to help you to keep that creativity flowing and then transforming it into practical inspired action, and that's what's going to drive you forward and give you success in the business. So don't forget about the need to find pleasure and enjoyment in what you're doing, which might sound really simple, but actually for many of you, when you move into that kind of feeling overly restricted or you know, putting expectations upon the business that it needs to deliver this, it needs to, you know, provide X, Y, or Z, then you can start to lose the heart for it. And when that happens, then you're losing that connection into the divine to receive the inspiration that's going to help drive you forward into what the potential and the success is. So, okay, we have focus coming through. So this big cat is moving through quite a winter scene. And sometimes when we think about the idea of winter, it's like resources are scarce, right? There's a lack of abundance, or there's a lack of vitality or energy even. Sometimes we just want to kind of hide away, or we want to wait till that springtime rejuvenation happens. But it's sometimes in those periods of time when again, Knight of Pentacles, you know, you don't have all the glitz and the glamour, and not everything is showing up and coming in towards you, that you are learning the most, you are honing your craft, you are learning resilience, you are making choices based on sensible business planning, so that you can move with the ebb and the flow and the flux that's natural to any business. So if you're going through some lean times, if you feel like you're having to kind of climb a mountain at the moment, I feel like you're coming out of this time, but it's also got something really important to teach you. And I go back to the magician energy that says there's something that you're going to change or tweak as a result of this. So don't lose focus. The focus is going to pay dividends for you. Our final oracle card talks about celebrating your wins. Really important. I kind of want to go back to pleasure with this. If you're not recognizing at every stage of the game what you and others in your business that might be working for you or with you are achieving, even if it's really small, then there isn't an understanding of the journey and what it's actually giving to you. And then you can become overly focused on, well, it's just not delivered X amount in figures. Forgetting the richness, the creativity, the connections, the social, how it's helped transform you on lots of different levels. Of course, if you're in business, it's about being able to draw in abundance, and that's that's why you're doing it, amongst other things. But don't lose sight of all of the other aspects of what you are achieving and what the business is delivering for you, and the energy of it. And it's almost like that sense of gratitude. The more you can be aware of the smaller details and things, that's what's going to nourish, sustain, and keep those lands rich and fertile to help you through the leaner times and give you a sense of pleasure and satisfaction with what you're doing, and also help that energy and creativity to keep flowing with you. So thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that's helped.